19. We need Hannah Gieseman, Taylor Mitchell, Anna Summerendike, Jordan Kelly, Kelsey Caldwell, Bethany Norman, Colton Hoover, Ruth Hale, Luke Hurt, Brooklyn Hensley, Chloe Smith, Ella Warnes, Marie Claire DeRozier, Riley Shirley, and Jackson Kelly. You all are in Heat 1. This is a reminder, if you haven't downloaded the Band app on your smartphone, that's where all the updates for this weekend are being posted. So please look around for one of the QR codes to download that app. Again, that is the Band app, and updates about the shows this weekend are posted there.
Ready? Yeah, we'll need one in here to do our official placing. We got. Yeah, we will at some point. We got it. We got a little bit. We'll figure that out. Everybody gets one of them. Everybody.
Showman, last call. Hannah Gieseman, Taylor Mitchell, Anna Summerendike, Jordan Kelly, Kelsey Caldwell, Bethany Norman, Colton Hoover, Ruth Hale, Luke Hurt, Brooklyn Hensley, Chloe Smith, Ella Warnes, Marie Claire DeRozier, Riley Shirley, and Jackson Kelly.
Good afternoon. It's certainly a pleasure to be here, and looking forward to working with your GOAT exhibitors here today and tomorrow, and working through a really, really good show. And I think a great way to start off with here in our senior showmanship is honestly a very, very good first division, a big heat of them, and a very, very good group from top to bottom. Again, when you get into these situations, it gets challenging because you kind of ask yourself where you're going to draw that line. And again, there's going to be some left out here in the middle that maybe were just right there on the edge. If I needed to pull one or two more, again, I could easily go identify those two. But I'm really, really satisfied with this group. I think a big group of them to bring back. I'm excited to work those in your senior heats. But again, my compliments to this first set of exhibitors all the way through. Very, very good set of senior showmen. As they head on out the ring, make some noise for them, put your hands together. Very, very good set a good way to kick off your Virginia State Fair Goat Show.
Callbacks from Heat 1, Anna Summerendike, Jordan Kelly, Kelsey Caldwell, Ella Warnes, Marie-Claire DeRosier, and Riley Shirley. We want to thank our judge for being here today, Mr. Barrett Carlisle. He grew up in Lubbock, Texas. He went on to Butler Community College and was a member of the national champion livestock judging team there. After Butler, he graduated from Kansas State. He currently works for Zoetis Animal Health and owns and operates Diamond Sea Club Lambs with his wife, Jara Settles. Please give our judge today a round of applause for being here at the State Fair of Virginia. Entering the ring, Senior Meat Goat Showmanship, Heat 2, we have Melena Ritchie from Rockingham, Grayson Long from Rockingham, Abigail Dilworth of Caroline, Rachel Hale of Hanover, Sydney Wills of Louisa, Hunter Collier of Madison, Michaela McPherson, Chesapeake City, Grant Grubb from Wythe, Emma Donnelly from Clark, Sarah Myers from Culpeper, Bree O'Brien from Richmond, Brenna Pennybacker from Rockingham, Emma Babb from Page, Samantha Wills from Fluvanna, and Kaylee Bergeron from Pittsylvania. Callbacks from this class will be joined by class 1 from Heat 1, and we will pick our senior champion showman.
Say what? Everybody's here. Double check, 'cause
Another very, very good heat, and again, maybe even more challenging than the first one, because again, I think there's going to be 2 or 3 that get excused out of here that are just really, really close, and honestly, one of them just doesn't have the best dance partner out here today, and just doesn't have a weather that's wanting to cooperate the best. It's unfortunate. That's going to end up working against her a little bit here, but a very, very stout, deep set, and to where I think, that kind of can come into play and kind of work against you just a notch here. But again, my congratulations to these 5, but again, all the ones that are left along the rail, I think you should be very, very proud of your efforts out here. Very good set of senior showmen to wrap up this division with. I'm anxious to get these back in the finals and work through them again, but my compliments can't be sincere enough of how good this set is. If you would, make some noise for them, put your hands together as they head on out the ring. Can't be complimentary enough of this.
Callbacks from Heat 2 are Michaela McPherson, Grant Grubb, Emma Donnelly, Brenna Pennybacker, and Samantha Wells. Back from Heat 1, we invite Anna Summerendike of Virginia Beach, Jordan Kelly of Clark, Kelsey Caldwell of Rockbridge, Ella Warrens of Rockingham, Marie-Claire DeRosier of Shenandoah, and Riley Shirley of Clark. Intermediate meet goat showmen should be in the ready area for Heat 1 intermediates. Nina Herrera, Dixie Randolph, Addison Vaughn, Grace Mast, Regan Babb, Carter Mitchell, Becca Horst, Corinne Cooley, Connor Dilworth, Kimberly Brickhouse, Emma Wise Carver, Garrett Norman, and Travis Mallory. We do want to thank our ring crew this weekend at the State Fair of Virginia. We have Dr. Scott Greiner from Virginia Tech School of Animal Sciences, Mr. Philip McCroskey, Ag Teacher and FFA Advisor of Abingdon High School, Matthew Sponagle from VDAX, and Corey Childs from Virginia Cooperative Extension. Please give our ring crew a round of applause for their help this weekend in organizing the show. We also want to thank our GOAT Show chairperson and lineup, Miss Emily Edwards from Augusta County. She is the 4-H agent there.
I don't know. I didn't want on the 6 o'clock news, so I said, let me hold the goat.
New this year is our Supreme Showman competition, which will be held on Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m., just before the sale of champions. Each of our respective species will name a Master Showman, Reserve, Third, and Fourth overall from the age division champions and reserves within that species. Today, at the conclusion of our Novice Meet Goat Showmanship, we will bring back our champion and reserve senior, intermediate, junior, and novice showmen to compete for our Master Showman title. Our Master Meat Goat Showman will compete on Saturday afternoon against Master Sheep, Master Beef, and Master Hog Showman for the title of Supreme Showman of the 2023 State Fair of Virginia. Again, this is our new program for Supreme Showman competition this year at the State Fair of Virginia. Addison Vaughn, please check in the ready area. Addison Vaughn.
Without question, what I'm sure is going to be the most challenging thing that I've got to sort and judge the next 2 days is what we kind of kick the festivities off with. And again, just trying to be very complimentary of these two heats within this senior division and genuinely meant. And then I knew it was going to be tough as we get back into this final drive. We got 11 of them out here or so that I think are very, very good. And again, don't want to take anything away from some of the young exhibitors standing down here on this end, because it was a dogfight in each heat to go ahead and come back. And so you stack them all against each other. Unfortunately, someone's going to have to end up sifting out of this group. And it's just kind of the way they shook my mind. But ultimately, I thought this top end was very good. And if you're going to shuffle them around, again, I don't think it gets any more opinionated than when it comes to showmanship. I think a lot of people can have their preferences in style and body positioning, hand placement, all those things can vary from one person to the other. And so this is just how I see them. But group ultimately was never going to waver from starting this young lady. She is just dead on, consistent from start to finish. And to me, I thought it was just kind of a race for second within this division. Again, body positioning, hand placement. Every time I come to that weather, I get the same look. She can get underneath of him, get him propped up. I think his head and his neck and his shoulder set are always dead on. To me, I think she just does a very, very good job. Again, from there on back, I think it gets very close. And if you're going to shuffle them around, I'm not going to argue with you too much. Young lady, again, just has a lot of presence. in the ring. She's one that you automatically kind of gravitate to. You can certainly appreciate that. I guess as we get down here towards the end, there's times where she kind of lets that one's weight get just a little far forward, makes that doe kind of makes that doe buck over in her knee just a little bit. I think we could be a little bit more mindful of that. But again, in terms of hand positioning and body placement, I think she's dead on. Young man does a very consistent job that comes here in 3, and again, brings us a female very, I think, one that's, again, should be pretty easy to show just because she's built so well. There's times we just kind of let that one's ear hang out a little more nonchalantly. To me, that becomes just a nickel more distracting, but something that small ends up relegating him into 3. Young lady does, it brings us a really creased up weather in 4. Again, I can appreciate just the extra drive and brace and pop that she gets out of that one. You know, there's times where we kind of get just a little more awkward, handle that chain. It's going to end up being the difference here within this group today. But nonetheless, very, very good set all the way through. Can't be complimentary enough to kick things off with. If you would, put your hands together for them as they head on out the ring.
Your senior champion meat goat showman goes to Anna Summerendike. Reserve senior meat goat showman goes to Emma Donnelly. 3rd place, Grant Grubb. 4th, Marie-Claire DeRogier. 5th, Riley Shirley. 6th, Brenna Pennybacker. 7th, Ella Warnes. 8th, Kelsey Caldwell. 9th, Jordan Kelly. 10th, Samantha Wills. And 11th, Michaela McPherson. We'll now have our intermediate meat goat showmanship class, Heat 1. Entering the ring, Nina Herrera from Chesapeake City, Dixie Randolph from Caroline, Addison Vaughn from Richmond, Grace Mass from Chesapeake City, Regan Babb from Chesapeake City, Carter Mitchell from Essex, Becca Horst from Rockingham, Corrine Cooley from Frederick, Connor Dilworth of Caroline, Lee Brickhouse of Virginia Beach, Emma Wisecarver of Frederick, Garrett Norman of Fauquier, and Travis Mallory from Madison. Heat 2, intermediate showman, please be in the ready area. Heat 2, Michael Dudding, Colton Thornton, Colton Atkins, Selena Perez, Rebecca Pembleton, Lindsay Babb, Lily Bowman, Emma Wood, Mary Garner, Carrington Weaver, Olivia Fisher, and Shyler Zolman. And reserve showmen for today for each age division. You need to be ready to come back for master showman. Again, champion and reserve from all of our age divisions today. Please be ready to come back for master showman after the novice class.
very good group. We're going to bring these back over here. Actually, this one was supposed to be. This young lady was. I think she got a pull for it. So it should be girl in the pink shirt. Very good group. Again, I thought maybe just a little more spread within this set. You could go just a few different ways amongst some of these. But again, we're going to leave a set along the rail here that I think are very good, just very close. And a lot of times, some of their goats just aren't cooperating the best, and that ends up kind of working against them just a little bit. But some capable showmen, I think, very good set to bring back here in our final division, our final heat within this division. But my compliments to the intermediate group as we kick this one off. Again, you guys have been a very good crowd ringside. Put your hands together and congratulate these as they head on out.
Callbacks from Intermediate Heat 1, we have Grace Mast of Chesapeake City, Reagan Babb of Chesapeake City, Becca Horse from Rockingham, and Kimberly Brickhouse, Virginia Beach City. Heat 2 Intermediate Showmen are coming in the ring. Heat 2, we have Michael Dudding of Craig, Colton Thornton of Augusta, Colton Atkins of Warren, Selena Perez of Virginia Beach, Rebecca Pembleton of Cumberland, Lindsay Babb of Page, Lily Bowman of Montgomery, Emma Wood of Page, Mary Garner of Essex, Carrington Weaver of Essex, Olivia Fisher from Shenandoah, and Shyler Zolman of Botetourt.
Another very good set. And again, I thought there was a couple that separated themselves within this group, and then another 4 to 5 that kind of fall right there in that gray area of, they're doing some things very, very good, but maybe just not quite as consistently. And to me, that's kind of my word of encouragement within this particular set is, I think just consistency. There's times where I get some really good looks of your projects, and then there's times where maybe we kind of got a little more zoned in exactly where I'm at or what I'm doing, and not necessarily mindful enough of kind of what our project looks like at that moment. And so, again, I think just consistency ends up working against a few of them within this set. But a very, very good group along the rail here. If you would, put your hands together for them. Congratulate them as they head on out. Again, my compliments to this group.
Callbacks from Heat 2, Colton Atkins of Warren, Emma Wood of Page, and Olivia Fisher of Shenandoah. We'll now have our intermediate meet goat showmanship drive. We're calling back from Heat 1, Grace Mass from Chesapeake, Regan Babb from Chesapeake, Becca Horst from Rockingham, and Kimberly Brickhouse from Virginia Beach. From Heat 2, Colton Atkins of Warren, Emma Wood from Page, and Olivia Fisher from Shenandoah. Oh, sorry. Got ahead of myself. We have Heat 3 right now. Heat 3 entering the ring, we have Malachi Music of Russell, Colette Cardell of Albemarle, London Vanderhyde of Pennsylvania, John Hale of Hanover, Kylie Blevins of Washington, Lucy Williams of Essex, Henrik Wells of Rockbridge, Clara Grubb of Wythe, Gannon Long of Rockingham, McKinley Bergeron of Pennsylvania, Elizabeth Summers of Page, and Colton Hemp from Augusta County.
this group. And my compliments to this idiot showman. Put your hands together, show them your congratulations, and make some noise for them as they head on out.
Callbacks from Heat 3, Malachi Music of Russell County, London Vanderhyde, Pittsylvania County, Henrik Wells, Rockbridge County, and Clara Grubb from Wythe County. We will now have our intermediate meet goat showmanship drive from Heats 1 and 2. Joining Heat 3, Junior Meat Goat Showmanship Heat 1, you should be in the ready area. Junior Meat Goats Heat 1, Cade Altman, Wesley Coleman, Emma Shiflett, Carter Fortune, Wyatt Manbeck, Alyssa Kopp, Whitley Kopp, Tyree Nodine, Caroline Haggard, Preston Widener, and Ella Herrera. Our intermediate showmanship drive includes Grace Mast of Chesapeake, Reagan Babb of Chesapeake, Becca Horst of Rockingham, Kimberly Brickhouse, Virginia Beach, Colton Atkins of Warren, Emma Wood from Page, Olivia Fisher, Shenandoah, Malachi Music from Russell, London Vanderhyde, Pennsylvania, Henrik Wells from Rockbridge, and Clara Grubb from Wythe County.
well, a lot like the senior drive. Again, just a tremendous set from top to bottom. And again, can't be complimentary enough of just the depth of this age division, and very challenging to sort out in my mind. Maybe even more so to do than the senior drive, just in terms of being very bunched up. You know, I think the margin for error from anywhere from first to second on into the bottom end of this lineup is very, very slim. And a lot of it just has to do with, you know, cooperation from their goats or how they're wanting to act out here. But, you know, I thought a lot of variation and just the styles and just the presence and how they go about things out here in the ring that kind of make it awfully close. And what I would say is just my general observation within this age division, there's a lot of kids out here that look the part, certainly know the way they're supposed to stand or know the way they're supposed to kind of hold those things, heads and necks and jaws, and I think look the part just from a first impression standpoint. I thought within this set, though, there's a lot of them that maybe just lose track just a little bit of kind of some basic fundamentals in terms of where legs are set, how far we need to get them stretched out, and just some variations and just how much brace we get out of them. But nonetheless, I think a group that certainly looks the part, maybe just some details, maybe get skipped just a time or two within this set. And that's where I like the young men. I think the doe, the redneck, red-shouldered doe, I think gets put together just the most consistent. I think she's does a very good job of highlighting what that one does well. That thing has got a crane neck on her. She pulls it out of her shoulder very good. Her hind legs are always set square. To me, that ends up being the difference between her and the young lady that's going to come here in second. Just a little more consistent in terms of where we get those rear legs set. Young lady does a very good job in terms of just presence, the way she handles the front end of that one. Very good. I like her body positioning, her hand placement. All those things are very good in her. You know, I think there's just times where I come to that doe and that backside hind leg is just a little too far back, and I think we could just work on getting her squared up a little more consistently. But nonetheless, very, very good job by that young lady. Young man that comes here in 3, maybe just a little different style than some of them within this lineup. He gets a hard brace out of that thing, and I like that. I think just in terms of getting that thing propped up, getting that one's rear legs just drove into the ground, you know, I think he's as good as any of them within this lineup. I think there's times where it maybe works against him just a little bit. I think he gets that one's weight just over that one's skis just a little bit. I think we could just keep that one's body and weight just shifted back just a little bit, because when he drives too far forward, kind of wants to get bucked over in his knee there and just doesn't look quite as appealing. But I do like what he does well and does to a very high degree. Young lady does a very good job, again, of just squaring up around the front of him. That comes here next in 4. Again, there's times where I wish that one would drive and brace just a little harder, keep that one's hind leg a little more secure in the dirt. But nonetheless, I think does a very good job around the front end of that one. Young lady that comes in next, honestly, had you worked up a little higher at a couple of times within this group. You know, as the drive wears on, we kind of let that doe get just a little bit lazy. I wish we could just kind of make her prop up and just pull her neck out of her shoulder just ever so slightly. But nonetheless, in terms of first impression, having some presence out here, you're as good as any of them within this lineup. Again, very good set all the way down the lineup. My compliments to this Showman, if you would, some of your hands together and make some noise for them as they head on out.
Your champion intermediate showman is Kimberly Brickhouse of Virginia Beach. Second place, Grace Mast of Chesapeake. Third, Colton Atkins of Warren. Fourth, Olivia Fisher from Shenandoah. Fifth, London Vanderhyde from Pennsylvania. Sixth, Clara Grubb from Wythe. Seventh, Becca Horse from Rockingham. Eighth, Henrik Wells from Rockbridge. Ninth, Reagan Babb from Chesapeake. 10th, Malachi Music from Russell. And 11th, Emma Wood from Page. We now have Heat 1 of Junior Meat Goat Showman. Heat 1, Cade Altman of Orange, Wesley Coleman of Augusta, Emma Shiflett of Madison, Carter Fortune of Augusta, Wyatt Manbeck from Botetourt, Alyssa Kopp from Washington, Whitley Kopp from Washington, Tyree Nodine from Chesapeake, Caroline Haggard from Pennsylvania, Preston Widener from Pennsylvania, and Ella Herrera from Chesapeake. Heat 2, juniors need to be in the ready area. Heat 2, Hayden Wells, Avery Deacon, Samuel Pulliam, Charles Farmer, Madison Randall, Emily Summers, Stella Zolman, Ren Manbeck, Mason Beamer, and Charlotte Bowman.
very good set of juniors. And obviously, it seems like when you get into the junior division, there can be some spread in terms of just ring awareness or just experience and just how much they've been in and through a ring. But I think it certainly shows on some of them. But I would just encourage some of these just to keep at it and keep getting in the ring, because obviously experience is your biggest friend when you're at this age and kind of at this point in your learning. And so my compliments to this set. We're going to bring back a big group. I think there's a good chunk of them that are very, very good, and just a couple that get left out that are certainly right there close. Some variations in style back over here. Anxious to work through those again. But again, my compliments as we kick into our junior division. You should make some noise for them and put your hands together as they head on out the ring.
Callbacks from Heat 1, we have Wesley Coleman, Wyatt Manbeck, Alyssa Kopp, Whitley Kopp, Caroline Haggard, and Preston Widener. Junior Meat Goat Showman for Heat 2, we have Hayden Wells from Rockbridge, Avery Deacon from Rockbridge, Samuel Pulliam from Giles, Charles Farmer from Pennsylvania, Emily Summers of Page, Stella Zolman of Botetourt, Ren Manbeck of Botetourt, Mason Beamer of Rockingham, and Charlotte Bowman of Montgomery.
another very good group. And when they came in, I thought, oh, this one's going to be stout and pretty deep because there's good. It gets pretty dicey on kind of where you're going to draw that line. And ultimately, we leave 4 over there that all do something very, very well. I think there's just one thing that kind of hinders them just a little bit. And some of them, it's just kind of having too much of their body swung on the backside of the goats. You know, I think some of those could just kind of square up around the front of them just a little bit more. And then maybe some of them just don't quite have their hands in their body positioned right around their head and their jaw. I'd like to change that on a couple of them as well. And so I think there's 4 of them left are very, very close, just a little bitty details that kind of hinder them just a little bit within this set of exhibitors. But again, my compliments to another fantastic heat of junior showmen. My compliments to all of them. Make some noise for them as they head on out.
Callbacks from Heat 2, Junior Meat Goat Showman. We have Avery Deacon, Samuel Pulliam, Charles Farmer, Mason Beamer, and Charlotte Bowman. Coming back in our Junior Meat Goat Showmanship Champion Drive, we have Wesley Coleman of Augusta, Wyatt Manbeck of Botetourt, Alyssa Kopp of Washington, Whitley Kopp of Washington, Caroline Haggard of Pittsylvania, Preston Widener of Pittsylvania, Avery Deacon from Rockbridge, Samuel Pulliam from Giles, Charles Farmer from Pennsylvania, Mason Beamer from Rockingham, and Charlotte Bowman from Montgomery. All of our novice meat goat showmen need to be in the ready area. Novice meat goat showman, Nicole Dalton, Evelyn Dudding, Paisley Hilliard, Amelia Lawrence, Madison McLeod, Michael Norman, Brody Pugh, Abigail Shoemaker, Shelby Shiflett, Connor Spangler, Adeline Stern, Madison Strassnyder, Skylar Talley, Sawyer Wilkins, Waylon Wilkins, Abby Lane Widener, and Jenny Gray Widener. Again, we need all of our champion and reserve showmen to remain ready for our Master Meat Goat Showmanship Drive. Again, that's champion and reserve from each age division for our Master Meat Goat Showmanship Drive at the end of the novice class.
She went through a phase where she won with Brittany, and then she figured out that could really help. So when she got, so her last 2 or 3 years, she was all about telling me where I needed to stand.
from there on back. To me, I think it comes down to these two, in my opinion, and then again, some sort from third on into about 6th or 7th within this group. Very, very deep set, and I was anxious to get them right back out here, and ultimately, I thought within the pair, I thought the young man up front that we go ahead and lead off with was just a nickel more consistent in terms of getting that one stretched to the appropriate length for me. I thought there was times where the young man here in 2 maybe kind of swung back and forth from maybe just a little too stretched out to just a little bit too jammed up, and so something that small kind of ends up being the difference at the top pair here. 2 very, very good showmen, some very good, very high ring presence out here, just a little bit different style, but I think both of them do a very good job. Again, young man here in 2nd, I think just in terms of squaring up around the front of them, getting some brace, again, just dead on, and how you get that one presented. Maybe, again, just be a little more mindful of kind of where we're at from just stretch and length of body standpoint on that goat. But again, that's getting pretty critical of 2 that I thought just kind of separated themselves amongst the pack out here. Young man that comes here in 3, again, a lot of presence. I like just the squareness that you stand around the front of that one. I think there's times where you just get that one's neck bent back over the back of her blade just a little bit more. I think if we could just pull that one's neck out of the top of her shoulder just a little bit, again, that front gets even more interesting, but my compliments to him. Young lady is probably at a size disadvantage, comes here in 4, but again, you talked about a lot of try hard, because she absolutely hustles out here, and I think certainly makes her presence be known within this set of contemporaries, because just in terms of squaring up around the front of them, getting them braced, man, she does as good a job as any of them out here, and I like that hard brace that she gets out of that weather. There's times where he kind of wants to roll up in his top line just ever so slightly, and that works against her, but nonetheless, that's getting awfully critical of a very talented showman. Young lady comes there next, just a lot of presence. Again, just gravitate to her out here. Again, her squareness up front, the way she handles that one's head and ear is very good. I think there's times where we could get just a little bit more out of him. There's times he kind of wants to lose his top line just a little bit. If we could just make that one brace into us just a little bit more, I think it'd make that doe just look a little bit more appealing out here, but nonetheless, a very, very good showman as well. My compliments to all the exhibitors down here, down this lineup. Very, very stout set of junior showmen. It can't be complimentary enough to all of you. If you would, put your hands together, show them some encouragement as they head on out.
Your champion junior showman goes to Wyatt Manbeck. Reserve goes to Samuel Pulliam. 3rd place, Preston Widener. 4th, Avery Deacon. 5th, Alyssa Kopp. 6th, Mason Beamer. 7th, Caroline Hagood. 8th, Charlotte Bowman. 9th, Wesley Coleman. 10th, Whitley Kopp. And 11th, Charles Farmer. We now have our novice meat goat showmanship. These youth have never shown meat goats at the State Fair of Virginia. This is their first time in the show ring with goats. We have Nicole Dalton of Pennsylvania, Evelyn Dudding of Craig, Paisley Hilliard of Page, Amelia Lawrence of Fauquier, Madison McLeod from Rockingham, Michael Norman from Fauquier, Brody Pugh of Frederick, Abigail Shoemaker from Loudon, Shelby Shiflett from Madison, Connor Spangler from Floyd, Adeline Stern from Shenandoah, Madison Strassnyder from Frederick, Sawyer Wilkins from Rockingham, Waylon Wilkins from Rockingham, Abby Lane Widener from Pennsylvania, and Jenny Gray Widener from Pennsylvania. Senior champion in reserve showman, please be in the ready area. Anna Summerendike and Emma Donnelly. Intermediate champion in reserve, Kimberly Brickhouse and Grace Mast. And junior champion in reserve, Wyatt Manbeck and Samuel Pulliam. Please be in the ready area for our master meat goat showmanship drive. Again, we want to thank our goat sponsors for this weekend. We have Cumberland County Farm Bureau, Montgomery County Farm Bureau, McPherson Farms, Rocktown Show Goats, S&R Meat Goats, CSF Show Goats, Creative Virtue Crafts, the Funk Family, Hubbard Feeds, and Redifer Livestock.
certainly does a good job of putting some spotlight into them and letting them show against some people that you certainly know are similar in terms of experience and just their newness to the project. And so, again, my compliments to all these kids, because a very, very good set all the way through, especially for a first time with the GOAT project. And so I think within that, though, there's still some sort within this group and some spread. And, I think there's some give and take through a lot of those. And, again, like we talked earlier, just cooperation and just how bad some of these goats want to be in the ring, end up splitting some of the hairs. But up here at the top end, I thought the young man that we won or led off with won so pretty easily in my mind. I think just very consistent, from the time he comes in all the way through this lineup as we sort through this class. Just a very good job of not ever wavering. Again, every time I come to that doe, that's the same type of look that I get out of her. And so I thought that was kind of the easy thing to do. And then from there on back, there was some sort. Young ladies that come here in between 2 and 3. That are in the yellow shirts. I think there's some give and take in those. One we go ahead and put second within this group, I think does a good job of just getting just a little more prop and a little more brace and kind of getting a little more squared up with her left leg on the front side of that goat. I think that allows her to get just a little bit more brace out of him. But again, splitting hairs here between 2 and 3. Probably a little better acting type of doe is the one that comes here in 3. I think that one cooperates with her very well. And again, you get a very consistent look out of her. I think there's times where she just gets a little jammed up. I think we could just get that one's neck propped up just a little bit better, and that one can be second pretty easily. Young lady comes here in 4 again, just in terms of a lot of brace and a lot of drive out of a goat. She does as good a job as any of them within this set. I think there's times where we kind of let that one lose her top line just a little bit or get a little too rock forward in terms of our weight. But nonetheless, I appreciate your effort and just how much drive you get out of that one. Young lady here in 5 just kind of consistently moved up within this lineup because, again, every time you come to her, you still get a look of quality of that doe. I think there's times where we kind of let her neck set just a little bit low in terms of her shoulder. I think we could pull that out of her just a little bit more consistently. But in terms of getting our body squared up around the front of them, again, I think she does a very good job of that. Again, my compliments to this set of showmen all the way through this lineup. Challenging set to sort out and sort through. But if you would, put your hands together as they head on out the ring.
Your champion novice meat goat showman goes to Sawyer Wilkins. Reserve goes to Evelyn Dudding. 3rd place, Jenny Gray Widener. 4th, Madison Strassnyder. 5th, Madison McLeod. 6th, Nicole Dalton. 7th, Brody Pugh. 8th, Paisley Hilliard. 9th, Shelby Shiflett. And 10th, Abby Lane Widener. We're now going to call back all of our champion and reserve showmen for the day for Meat Goat Showmanship for our Master Meat Goat Showmanship Drive. Again, the Supreme Showmanship Competition is new this year. It will be held Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m. just before the Sale of Champions. Each of our respective species will name a Master Showman, Reserve, 3rd, and 4th overall from each age division's champions and reserves within the species. The Master Meat Goat Showman will compete on Saturday afternoon against the Master Sheep, Master Beef, Master Hog for the title of Supreme Showman of the 2023 State Fair of Virginia. So coming in the ring, our senior meat goat champion showman, Anna Summerendike from Virginia Beach. Reserve senior meat goat showman, Emma Donnelly from Clark. Our champion intermediate meat goat showman, Kimberly Brickhouse from Virginia Beach. Reserve, Grace Mass from Chesapeake. From the junior division, champion Wyatt Manbeck from Botetourt. And reserve, Samuel Pulliam from Giles. And from novice, Sawyer Wilkins from Rockingham. And Evelyn Dudding from Craig. After the completion of our showmanship drive, there will be a 30-minute break, and we will start our registered and commercial doe show. So at the conclusion of our master showmanship drive, there will be a 30-minute break, and then we will start our breeding and commercial show.
Is there awards for this or not?
I'm having cleaning wipes or anything by any chance.
Well, as we come to wrap up showmanship, again, probably sound like a broken record, but again, can't be complimentary enough of just how much quality there's been and how much talent there's been through the ring so far yet today as we work through your showmanship, and it's been every division. It's not just been senior heavy or happen to all fall in the intermediate division or anything like that. It's been scattered and been deep all the way through all these age groups, and so it's kind of cool and kind of unique that you get to show all of your age division winners back to get against each other for kind of a champion or master showman, and I think that's awfully cool. Makes my job hard, but it's been awfully fun to work through this group, and certainly doesn't let up in terms of just how easy it is to sort as you get back into this final drive. So we'll keep. But again, my compliments to this set of exhibitors that's been through the ring today. I'm looking forward to working through your does and through your market lambs tomorrow, or market goats tomorrow. But nonetheless, been awfully challenging to sort through. So one last time, I'll go get you a top four. But if you would, ringside, put your hands together and make a lot of noise for these 8 exhibitors.
Your master meat goat showman comes from the senior division. Anna Summerendike from Virginia Beach. Your reserve comes from the Novice Division, Sawyer Wilkins, Rockingham County. Third overall comes from Senior Division, Emma Donnelly of Clark County. Fourth overall comes from Intermediate, Kimberly Brickhouse, Virginia Beach. Congratulations. We'll now take a 30-minute break before our next round of show classes.